Thank you for watching another Morristown Matters video. In this episode, we're talking about the Second Amendment rights and how Hamblen County is trying to silence firearms within the county. Most people who live in the county do so because they don't want to live in the restrictions of the city. In February, Hamblen County Commissioners will be voting on a noise ordinance that'll make it a nuisance, unlawful, to shoot a firearm within the county limits unless you are actively hunting or shooting in a permitted shooting range. If this ordinance passes in February, that means any Hamblen County citizen just trying to shoot off a few rounds on their property, adjusting their scope so it's just perfect for the next morning for them to go hunting, would be violating the law, would make it a nuisance. Well, that means your neighbor can call the police on you. You know what happens when the police comes and sees your firearms? It goes downhill from there. They're on a fishing expedition. Firearms isn't the only thing that will be restricted with this noise ordinance if it gets passed. Your way of life, as you know it as a county resident, will be ready to change. They're trying to integrate the city of Morristown rules and regulations and ordinance onto the county, and this is the first step. Watch the rest of my videos of the January 9th committee meeting, and please be sure to show up on February 13th at 5 p.m. at the Old County Courthouse to voice your concerns about this noise ordinance that the government is trying to pass. Enjoy this video.
Of the Hamblen County Legislative Body.
And then at the end in G, I just noticed in looking through these that nothing was said about guns or gunshots and target practicing, or I mean, I can hear from my house around John Hay School the gun club doing their skeet shooting. You know, is that a violation? You know, so we just need to give some thought to that. In this, it would be an exception. A person hunting on private property or participating in events at a permitted and zoned gun club or practice range. So, and then there may be other noises that are some that you have concerns about. Another one I had that I caught was about agriculture. And if you look at under exceptions D, it has agricultural equipment. And that's between the hours of 7 a.m. and 9 p.m.
I just started posting on Morristown Matters again. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button, ring the bell. There's a lot more videos coming up. I'm going to start getting all that city meeting, all the county meeting stuff out so that people know what's going on again. There's a lot that you need to learn. Hit that thumbs up so the algorithm will send that out, and please be sure to share it to all your neighbors. They need to know about this. If they don't show up and you don't show up at this meeting, it's going to pass and everybody's way of life is going to be different.
The gun club, for example, has operated for years. You know, we don't need to touch that. That's just my thought, but Chairman Richardson, won't you enlighten us?
So I spoke with Charles Curtis today, and he is the chairman of the County Commissioners Association, and he actually is the one that wrote the next document that we're going to look at, and he indicated that this week, by the end of this week, he should have some new information that would help us in this process. He said this is the hardest ordinance, whatever you want to call it, to try to contain and make fair for everybody. But he assured me that he would have that information and get it to us hopefully by the end of this week. So, and it might shed some new light on the subject. Part of it had to do with the decibel ratings. Part of it had to do with how do you calibrate, how do you have somebody trained, is there another way bypass all that, and, take care of it with other means other than an ordinance or something. So he was going to get all that information to us as soon as he could.
And in your considerations, as we go through this process, think about enforcement too, because enforcement will be difficult unless we're very specific.
That was one of the things that he was talking about, was how do you enforce this? And part of this document, the new authority for counties to regulate nuisance, that has something to do with the enforcement and regulations.
So in other words, Chairman, that we could use a nuisance,
Correct.
some way to specifically address.
It could be classified as a nuisance and kind of bypass everything and then go to enforcement, law enforcement at that point.